on to Every Woman Empowered's Chit Chat. And I am your host, Shauna J. Cerniak, the founder of Every Woman Empowered. And alongside, we have my co-host,
Neela Janu, certified laughter yoga instructor, founder of Let's Laugh Yeg, and happiness ambassador for Every Woman Empowered.
And unfortunately, tonight we don't have our international artist, Gianni Galarno, with us, or our other co-host, but we do have our special guest. Please help me welcome Tania Kebernik.
Yay!
And how are you doing?
I'm so fantastic, thank you. How are you?
Welcome. So I gotta say, I'm really loving your hair, the color, like holy catfish. Like that is dynamic. It's almost what do they call it? Like, you know, it goes from like, it looks like it's blue and then it goes turquoise, kind of green, purple. It's got all this menage of beautiful color.
Thank you.
Did you do that yourself?
I did. Absolutely.
She's like Dory. She's a natural blue.
Wow. I love it. So as a hairstylist and colorist, tell us a little bit about what you are going to be seeing in 2021. What do you think the new trend, you know, still with COVID going on and everything that's happening, what do you see for 2021?
2021 is super fun. So it's coming back to, honestly, chunky highlights like we had kind of when I started my career like a million years ago.
Yes.
So like big, bold stuff. Not necessarily is it going to be that kind of stripey stuff we saw at the Root back in 2020 or back in 2000. It's going to evolve, right? But it's going to be something really bold and really striking. Also, color blocking is coming back in. So color blocking is where you take a specific piece of your hair, like say maybe just here and do it bold, or even just a piece here and do it bold, like a piece of Neela's gorgeous hair there, like she'd have just a chunk that was a really outstanding color, and that's color blocking. So I think that's going to be really huge, and I think we're actually going to see a lot of red and white come back, which was something really big in the 2000s too. It can be a really stunning combination. It can also not be, but it can be really, really cool when it's done well.
Do you think we're going to see the more grays for 2021? And what about that root? You know, showing your roots. You know, my husband was watching TV the other day and goes, "What is up with all the roots? That, like, is that in now?" And I'm like, "Well, I hope it is, because I got some serious roots."
It depends where you live. So Alberta, technically where we live, is about 5 years behind on trends, I find. We're usually a little slow to get to them. It's getting faster now that we have Instagram and Facebook and all that stuff, but we kind of take a little longer to get on board. So definitely in Alberta, you'll still see the rooted look. That is definitely a trend. You will see people still dabbling in gray, but gray is actually a pretty tricky color to get and to keep. I think it will stay for a while, but it also really doesn't look good on a lot of people.
Right.
It's a tricky color to wear. So I think what we're actually gonna see is more people opting for kind of not lilac, but pastel colors, like soft pinks and purples and that kind of stuff in their blonde, just to incorporate a vivid into their hair. Because I think vivids are becoming more wearable than they used to be.
Right. Yeah. You know, I find that the best women with the gray are the natural grays. You can't get those type of colors with a little bit of silver in them, or their other hair color underneath. I mean, you know, it's just, those are usually the ones that just knock that gray out of the park.
So Gianni is well known for that, and like just having that little pop of color here and there.
Yes. That's what is called color blocking, right? So yeah, see, I'm loving it.
So awesome. Tania, the color, like the vivid hair, is how I found you on Instagram, and I've come to just love you because you sat me down, you let me know, you know, we talked it out, and you figured out that I'm a low maintenance kind of girl, and that just wasn't going to work for me. So I just love how much of a passion you have for hair. You're always learning new techniques and tricks to the trade. Where does all that love of learning and sharing that knowledge come from for you?
That comes from my obsession from having to know everything about anything that I like, right? If I want to know something, I'm going to know everything there is to know about. Not a little bit, but everything. And hair kind of fell into that thing. Luckily, I was born with scissors in hand, right? Like right out of the I was cutting people's hair. So luckily that kind of came ingrained in me, and it's a form of art for me. It's a kind of a palette where I like to express myself. So the more knowledge I have, the more ways I can express myself. And the more knowledge I have, the bigger people's smiles can be, right? When their hair is working for them. And because that's my favorite part is that, oh, I love my hair, right? That's the best part. That's kind of like that adrenaline rush. So to get people to that, and the more tools I have for that, the easier I can get them there.
For sure. No kidding. Because, you know, there's
what you've done for me. I mean, I've had thick hair all my life that just kind of hangs, and you've come in with different techniques to thin out my hair. And she took like a strip and just kind of cut right at the root, and I'm thinking, what did she do? But it actually worked so great. It feels weird the first day, but it definitely, like, it grows out nice. It, you know, keeps the shape of my hair really great. So thank you, Tania.
No kidding.
Ultimate trust texturizing technique right there, right? Yeah.
Good to kind of let everybody know, right? It's not just going ahead and just nobody just take out your own scissors and start chunking out your hair there.
Or if you do, send me pictures of it.
Yeah, no kidding. Exactly. So what about hair products as we're going forward? Like, what are you, like, as a hairdresser, we always go in, you do our hair, we look phenomenal, we get home, and, you know, we can't match that look that you've given us. So what are some key products for us to use to kind of get that look that we've just come out of your salon?
Knowledge.
Okay.
Product, right? It's actually the how and why of how we blow dry your hair that makes more of a difference than product. Product is kind of like your backup singer, but knowing how to blow dry and knowing which way to use your brush and to point your nozzle is actually a bigger help than products. Products are really great. I love a heat protector when you're using a hot tool so your hair doesn't dry out and get crunchy and fuzzy and all of that gross stuff. I love a good kind of puffing product. That's how I hold my hair up. It's kind of starchy and it gives you really great volume and oomph without a lot of effort. Those two are kind of my go-to, and a bit of an oil. I actually really love natural products. I love putting a little bit of red raspberry seed oil into like the ends of my hair to kind of help hydrate, give that kind of stuff. Yeah, so there's a lot of really great products you can use, but knowledge is actually the key to styling.
Well, I never even thought about the hair drying aspect. I mean, everybody's talking about the products, but I never even thought about what a good hair dryer can do. I just recently, my husband got me one for Christmas, and I got to tell you, my hair just does amazing things with a great hair dryer. And it's got one of those things you put on the end, I think the diffusers, I think they're called. And it's just like, wow, I automatically got this curl that I'm always trying to try and fight to get the curl. And I'm using all this product, and here it's just a simple hair blower that kind of brings out that curl a little bit more. Yeah,
tools are fantastic. And with diffusers, you want high heat, low speed.
Well, there you go. So that's a trick there.
Tania is full of knowledge.
Yes, no kidding. Love it.
I learned how to properly use conditioner. You want your hair to be pretty much, you know, not like dripping wet when you put the conditioner on, and how not to break my hair when I'm brushing it. So you start off lower down and then build up to the top. And I've learned how to use bobby pins properly. So maybe, Tania, you could explain that.
Oh yeah, so bobby pins, when we open them up, right, when we kind of open that up and then put it in our hair, it's too much hair for the bobby pin, so your hair pushes it out. So if you take it just as it is closed, push it kind of level to your scalp and then push it down, or hold it up and then push it down, it'll grab the amount of hair it's meant to grab and actually stay in place.
Oh, wow. You know, I gotta say that in all the years that I've been going to a variety of hairdressers and such, you know, these aren't tidbits that I've known before or has been shared with me before. Why do you think that hairdressers aren't telling us this? And you are.
Yeah, it might not cross their mind. Sometimes we think what we know everybody knows.
Right.
And who knows why they're not, but I love sharing information and ways to help people do things easier. I guess I really love teaching stuff, right? So
right.
yeah.
Yeah, no, that's huge. That hair education is you know, is amazing. The knowledge that you know, one can get, you know. What about right now with COVID going on? How is that affecting you in the business? And what are you kind of hoping for your business for 2021 will bring?
So right now in Alberta, they've shut us down, right? Legally, we're not allowed to do hair. We're allowed to have people kind of come in and pick out products and that kind of stuff. So that's cool. I have a situation right now where even though I'm not allowed to touch your hair, you can come into my space and I can help you, give you tips on applying color, right? So that kind of stuff. But really for my business for 2021, I'm actually really interested in facilitating healing with kind of different energetic modalities that I have. And one area of interest that I really love working with is children who have experienced sexual abuse and gone through kind of a traumatic experience with that. So in 2021, I'd actually really like to open up and help a lot of these kids move through that experience.
Wow.
Not related to hair, but that's kind of where I would like to go.
So working with them on their hair, but also through the process of their trauma.
Sure, I could work with them on their hair, but I'm kind of helping people navigate that situation in their life and understand what kids need and how to help them get through it and how to help them come back to themselves, because you lose a piece of yourself when you go through that kind of massive experience as a child. And I'd like to help them find a way back to themselves and give them tools so they can lead a happy life full of love and to avoid the pitfalls that often come with those situations, drug abuse and self-deprecation and all of that kind of nasty stuff. But there is ways to navigate around that. And there are things that I found through my life and things that helped me move through my own experiences. And I'd like to share that with the world.
Wow. So you've experienced this trauma yourself?
As a child, yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, that's incredible. And now you're wanting to help others. I think that's truly amazing, you know, and what better than those who have experienced it to be the helpers, the educators, the people that are going to help others in this situation, right? So that's pretty huge stuff for 2021 there. Wow.
Yeah, big stuff. Yeah. And I think it's something that's really needed in the world, because right now we do have a lot of information coming about how much assault is actually out there and how many kids actually do go through this kind of stuff. And I think once you open your eyes to it, that it's a world that there's a need for a lot of different kinds of help and a lot of different kinds of training. And if I can help in any way, I would be honored.
Good for you. Wow.
And it's so amazing for you to have gone through all that and taking that as like your catalyst to change and, you know, influence other people, and especially kids, because if you can get them redirected before they go down a certain path, that's going to change their whole life and all the people that are around them.
Yes.
And I guess, you know, you've been known for living authentically. You've got the blue hair, you do kind of your thing. What advice do you have for women, like our audiences, to just be, you know, embrace your authenticness, uniqueness, and just own that? And yeah, what do you have to say about that?
Yeah, well, my authentic self really did not come through for a really long time. It was locked away. It was under lock and key. And it took me a lot of self-reflection and a lot of self-diving and a drive to be like, you know what, I'm going to do more than this. I can be better than this. Well, not better, but like, I know that there's something within me that wants to be authentic. And I was depressed not being who I was and just wanting even to move out of that, wanting to be happy. And happiness is where I found my authenticity, right? Is being joyful, right? Like the blue hair and the blue eyebrows and stuff, this came from, I love drag queens, honestly. And they're the most fabulous people on the planet. And I was going to an event and I did this fun makeup for a drag show and I kind of did my eyebrows weird. And I was like, you know what, this feels better than like the brown eyebrows that I used to do. And it felt whole to me. So I did it, even though it's weird. And like, sometimes people are like, what is going on with you? But I love it and it feels good. So I go with that and I follow my joy. So you know what, my advice is follow your joy. That will lead you there every time.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
Couldn't agree more. As you are following your joy, what is something that you are hoping to see in 2021 for this world? What joy do you want this world to see?
I would love to see truth and authenticity from leaders. And I would love to see understanding for everybody in the world, that bit of compassion in the everyday people. I think as humans, when we stand together, when we lift each other up, we're the strongest. It's not when we're shaming each other or nitpicking or policing each other. It's when we stand up and say, you know what? We all deserve happiness and it's going to look different for each of us. And we all have a different truth. And to hold that space of understanding and allowing for people, for others, strangers, family, everyone, I think that would be a really beautiful thing, is just a lot more compassion and empathy and understanding for all of us.
Oh, wow. Those are very powerful words. And I couldn't agree with you more. Like, wouldn't that be a phenomenal 2021 of our leaders and people, our leaders would speak truth and we would support each other and be there for each other. Thank you so much for sharing that.
Lightning round.
Oh, here we go.
I'm gonna throw some questions at you.
Ready.
Okay, so this is some of your work. What is the favorite like artistic thing you've done with hair?
Oh, okay. Seriously, I'm going back to this checkerboard mohawk that I did a long time ago. It was this client. She was kind of a punk style, and I got to shave a checkerboard into the side of her head. And she had like this mohawk that she stood straight up, and she wore it so well. And it was my favorite because it was her authentically. That's who she was, right? And but really, it's always my favorite when people leave and they love their hair. That's always my favorite. So no matter what it is, if people think it's boring, because sometimes people will come and they're like, oh, I have boring hair. And I'm like, no, you never have boring hair as long as you love it, right? So anytime people smile, that's my authentic favorite thing to do.
Awesome. Okay, now what's the wildest hair you've ever had?
Probably this. Shaved my head in the summer. That was pretty intense. But I've done extensions, I've done short, I've done long, I've done half shaved. I've had every single haircut. But when I was 5, I cut my own fringe, and that was funny.
Who didn't do that?
I did that to all my Barbies.
Right?
When was the last time your hair was its natural color?
When I shaved it.
I guess the little
the teeny tiny little, that was it.
When's the last time you washed your hair?
This morning.
Because I know you're always encouraging to kind of let the oils in your hair kind of do their thing.
Yeah, I tell everybody else to do that. No, I worked out, so that's why I had to wash it. But yeah.
And Jenny's favorite question, if you were an ice cream, what flavor would you be and why?
Yep. It's shark bite ice cream.
Yay!
Yeah, because I love sharks, A, and B, because it's the best ice cream I've ever tasted in my entire life. And we found it at Sylvan Lake, so it's attached to really great memories with me and my boys, right? Because food is an emotional experience, right? And you tie it to things that you love, and that will be a favorite of ours for a long time, I think.
That's kind of funny that you found it at Sylvan Lake, and I'm shark bite thinking Jaws and do 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 do
Yeah.
do do, you know, like what a great place to find the ice cream of all places, right? That's
Totally.
awesome.
Yeah.
Well, unfortunately, we have to get going already, but we really honestly want to thank you for taking the time to be on our show today and for sharing all those beautiful words of wisdom and hope for 2021. And I think great things are going to come your way and all those that you touch. So thank you so much for being on our show. And we wish you all the best. Thank you.
Thanks, Tanya.
Thanks, Tanya. Bye-bye.